Legacy intact. Bring back smiles to the faces of the player and the fans. Ticked off. Done. Confidence. Ticked off. Done. There's so many things that you could write down about Martin O'Neill that he's definitely done. Incoming Celtic boss Wilfried, Brother Wilfried, as I'm calling him. I'm not calling him his surname. I'm going to call him Brother Wilfried. And coming in, and he's done him a favour. He's done Celtic a favour. He's done us all a favour. Everyone had a bit of fear about them when Martin O'Neill came back saying, do you know, we don't want him to diminish his legacy from 2000 to 2005. 2001 to 2005. And when you look at it, all he's done is he's increased it. He's an absolutely gentleman. And it's been such an honour. And it'll be fantastic. And I'm still, I can't believe the run that we've went on with this man again at the helm. I mean, he done it to us all those years ago. And I just hope that he was the kind of catalyst that put Celtic where they are today. And that should not be forgotten. Martin O'Neill was the catalyst all those years ago of where Celtic are at today. And I hope that the next manager that comes in can pick up the reins and can continue in such successful form. And let's just not hope. Let's hope that we don't go into a period of managed decline. When you look at the league table and when you look at the games that is on this weekend, and I apologise, it is a pre-recorded. It is 8:15 in the morning, Celtic Park time, and I'm heading down to the airport. And when you look at the league table, you've obviously got Heart of Midlothian at the top of the table, looking down on the Celtic and everyone else. And I'm fine with that because their bubbles burst. You got Celtic, who've went through one of the worst periods for a lot of people in living memory. We were going through a worst period. I mean, I would put this, what happened at the beginning of this season, I mean, would you put it up there with Tony Mowbray style? Maybe not as bad as Tony Mowbray, but it was getting that way. And there was a chance that if we had even kept the stand-in boss that stood in before, and he hasn't had successful time. Now you can understand why John Kennedy left the club. Because I don't think that we would have had the success that we've had just now under Martin O'Neill. Motherwell are in third position in the league on 21 points. And then, I'll just move this down there, make me a little bit smaller. And then when you look at Motherwell in fourth, Hibernian in third, Rangers in fifth position, Falkirk in sixth. We look at the games this weekend, that's where it really gets interesting. And on Saturday, today, yeah, it's Saturday. Jeez, forget what day of the week it is. See when you're having such much fun, because it's just, life's amazing. And you forget what day of the week it is. Dundee play St Mirren. It'll be interesting to see how they come back after playing Celtic and see how their form goes. Motherwell, that's a good game because they take on Hearts, and Motherwell will be in a bit of fine form. They'll think that we can do both Edinburgh teams in a week, and that would be fantastic for Motherwell. And we can all say to the Hearts fans, is your Motherwell this afternoon? Hopefully. And then Martin O'Neill can go to Hibs and do over Hibs tomorrow. Kilmarnock play Dundee United. That'll be a tasty game as well. I think I might do a live, and there's no point because there's only two games with 3 o'clock kickoffs. You know, it's a pain in the arse that there's, trying to put any kind of content together for 5 o'clock on a Saturday. There's just unbelievable, isn't it? But yeah, we'll probably still go live, see what the result is with Hearts, to see if they've increased the league at the top of the table. And then tomorrow you've got Hibernian Celtic, early kick-off. As always with Celtic fans, we always get pissed over. And early kick-offs, I mean, it will be on television. It'll be on Sky, no doubt. That's why it's early kick-offs. They always do us over. Rangers entertain Falkirk. An easy penalty Rangers decision that will allow Falkirk to get the win, just like they did at Livingston. And then you'll get the referees of the game, and then they'll phone up the manager and say, oh, look, sorry, mate, it was an honest mistake. We'll buy you a pint down the lodge. Is that okay? And then Livingston take on Aberdeen on the Sunday also at the Santa Fe Arena. The fuck? God, the what? Anyway, let's get back to the Celtic news of the day. I think that, going into the game tomorrow, what will Martin O'Neill do with his last game at Celtic? Will he give players a chance that maybe haven't had a chance, as he said, or is he just saying to the players, look, just wait a week? Because on Monday, Celtic will announce Brother Wilfried, as the new Celtic manager. Maybe I shouldn't call him Brother Wilfried. There is only one Brother Wilfried. But anyway, will Martin O'Neill change the team this weekend? Brother Wilfried will be announced as the new Celtic manager on Monday. When the players are at home, they'll all be tuning into Sky News to watch the developments at Celtic Park, just like what we were. But then again, he might get them brought in. Will he bring them into Lennoxtown just to meet them on the Monday? Or will he just wait till the Tuesday, till they all walk into training on Tuesday, and then they've got the new manager in training on Tuesday? You never know. The players might say to themselves, look, I think we're going to go in and go and meet the new manager on the Monday. Who starts? That's the big question for Martin O'Neill's final game at Celtic. I don't believe it. There's a bit of me that doesn't want him to go, but there's a bit of me that says that we need him to go just now because we need to be thinking about European football next summer. So we need to get someone in now. It would be all romantic, and Martin O'Neill says that like even his old age is an old romantic, but we have to think of the bigger picture. And sometimes keeping Martin O'Neill, keeping him on until the cup final, letting him win the cup final is great. He's got another cup final in the bag, and but he was asked, will you come back at the end of May for celebrations? Yeah, of course he will. And he says, hopefully I won't need to buy a ticket for that game. And asked if he would go on the pitch. No, I won't be going on the pitch and helping with the celebrations. Everyone knows that Celtic will win the league this year. It's just a matter of time before we get back to the top of the table. Well, we're expecting it. Unless we have a complete collapse with the new manager. It takes hump to the fact that the fans are against the board. And it all goes pear-shaped. It's not going to happen though, is it? Anyway, does Brendan Rodgers reject Yang? Does he get a start for this game? Does Maida go through the middle? Does Benji Nigren start on the wing? Up front, beside them? Or I believe that young Colby has got a foot injury after having a stud. Somebody stamped on him. His foot was bleeding, Martin O'Neill said, after the game, but he says he'll probably soldier on. Does Donovan start? Do we go back to Tony Ralston? There's all these decisions that Martin will have to make for his final game. And he holds no prisoners and he holds no favourites. And there's one thing, he'll enjoy his coffee next week. I'm drinking tea this morning. Will he play Hatate? God, Hatate turns up at the right moment, doesn't he? Fuck, there's a new manager coming in the door. I better start playing good again. Mr. Frustration, isn't he? Hatate, McGregor, Engels. A lot of people saying, look, Engels is crap, he's not worth it. But he does bring a side to the game that some other players don't. I mean, I think it would be hard to drop out Luke McCown, but it is back to SPFL business. We need to keep on winning, and there's all these caveats that, there's never an easy game at Celtic, and there's not. At the back, I expect it to be Tierney, Scales, Trusty. And I'm not too sure if Donovan will get the nod because of the damage to his foot. Manager might go, we're just going to leave you this game and bring back in Tony Ralston. But you never know. We could change it up completely. Martin O'Neill, I'm sure, will pick the team with the backroom staff. And he says that there should be a lot of credit given to the backroom staff. And I think there should be a lot of credit given to the backroom staff as well. It's an amazing turnaround, an amazing journey. When you think about the negativity and we were dreading watching Celtic just over a month ago, every time that the team was picked, we were all saying, yeah, more side-to-side passing nonsense. The excitement of the summer had gone, the prospect of bringing in new players when Brendan Rodgers at the time changed the formation in the summer to go 4-2-3-1 formation. You're thinking, Yeah, that looks like it might be an exciting change from the manager this year. But he reverted back to the old 4-3-3 and the possession football of just passing it around the back and passing it to the keeper. Martin O'Neill came in and went, and I think one of the funniest games early on for me was when Trusty was on the pitch, and he's on the pitch and he gets the ball from Scales. Or was it Cameron Carter-Vickers to Scales? Because Cameron Carter-Vickers, no, I think it was Trusty. It was Trusty. Scales to Trusty. And Trusty automatically was going to turn it back to the keeper. But I think he must have heard Martin O'Neill shouting, "Don't you fucking dare send it back to the keeper." And he looks at the keeper and he hesitates and he's like, "Oh, shit." And turns around and goes forwards with the ball. And it was instant. It was instant what Martin O'Neill did. And you're thinking, that's it. Do you know, for such an old geezer, 73-year-old, and I hope that I'm in such fine form as him at 73, and still enjoying life to the full. God knows if I'll still be doing this, that's for sure. But for my love of Celtic, you never know. Could you handle another 20 years of Baz on this? That would be mad, wouldn't it? It's all grown all together. Me just in the public eye doing this. But anyway, it would be fantastic for Martin O'Neill to get that win tomorrow. They'll go to the hotel today, just on the outskirts of Edinburgh, as they always do. And be an interesting one, because they'll be at Lennoxtown this morning, and or they'll go to Celtic Park, get on the bus, go through to the hotel, be all chilled out, and reminisce over the last month and all the good things that Martin O'Neill has done for the club, and all the good things that he's done for the players. And that's the most important thing. He's took these players that were low in confidence, that were getting slated by the manager, and I don't think that, and for all the good that Brendan Rodgers done, he tarnished his legacy. If there's anyone that's tarnished legacy over the last 6 months, I would say that Brendan Rodgers tarnished his, the way that he threw the players under the bus and calling them a Honda Civic, saying that he'd been given the keys to a Honda Civic. And I don't think that the players really liked that at the time, and it kind of showed with performances when you've got people that just weren't even trying. Martin O'Neill managed to get these players trying again and playing again. And okay, there was maybe one game where you're thinking, oh God, they've went back into Brendan Rodgers style football. But Martin O'Neill gets them in at half time and he has a nice little talk to them in his very little own way. And it's not so much the hairdryer treatment of a certain Scottish manager from a bygone era, but he definitely got his point across. And he's reminded these players as well what it means to play for Celtic. The importance of winning every single game. The importance of turning on the style. The importance of what you're doing every day makes a difference to these fans. These fans that pay a lot of money to come and watch Celtic home and away. A lot of people will be just getting back from Rotterdam. A little bit worse for wear, I see, and they'll be going to the game this weekend. Give me your score predictions in the comments section. Tell me what you think the score will be this weekend. Martin O'Neill has left with his legacy incomplete, not only enhancing his legacy, but he steered the club through some choppy waters. He's won 5 out of 6 matches so far. The only downside was that one in Midtjylland, and even he said that he knew that was going to be a hard game. He had watched them against Nottingham Forest, one of his old teams, and he says that they're a good side, and he was a bit disappointed at points, you've got to admit, because you could see it even on the touchline. You could see him looking at players and just thinking, dear God, son, you'd never get near my team 20 years ago. But it's a bygone era, and Martin O'Neill did say, look, these players aren't interested in what I've achieved in my career. And it is a long career that he's had. And even laughed about the fact that the younger members of staff, players that he all brought through the club, are trying to tell him how to manage a football club. But he sees the fun side of it. And it says it keeps him young. And I'll tell you one thing. for to get that famous victory at Feyenoord away in Europe, the first one in 4 years. He masterminded a win over Ajax in 2001. When you look at the mayhem that ensued at the board at the AGM and that getting called to a halt, Martin O'Neill coming out and saying it was a sad day for Celtic in his eyes. And that's what I love about him, because he just tells it as it is. Doesn't give a fuck about repetition, and you know, he doesn't give a shit about what anybody thinks. He's going to tell it as it is. He's going to say his mind, and he's had a few choice words to the directors, I believe, about the way that the club needs to go forward and how many players are needing really brought into this club, because Celtic should be a force to be deemed at least feared slightly when it comes to Europe, and especially in the Europa League. That's our standard that we've all said that we are. Champions League, you're just there for the cash. You're there to try and maybe get to the last 16, but it's very, very difficult. This level, Celtic should be competing. And right now, Martin O'Neill says, as good as that win was, we're not competing in Europe. There may be a chance that this team will get to the later stages. I think that it's now in our own hands to at least get to the playoffs in Europe. Could you imagine if the new manager comes in and manages to do what Brendan Rodgers couldn't? Is take us to a later stage of a European competition. He starts off by winning the League Cup in just a few weeks' time, as we sit on the 29th of November, and do you know, if he wins that and he plays well, and I'm ecstatic about the type of football that he's going to bring in, because it's going to go from really defensive to really attacking in the blink of an eye. He does like to play out 3 at the back, the new manager, and that can go to a 5 at the back when needed, when you see the way that he plays. But this weekend it is all about Martin O'Neill. The talk of the new manager will be left till Monday, until Celtic announce it on Monday morning or Monday lunchtime. And Martin O'Neill will then reminisce about a fantastic month. And I think we should just leave it at that this morning. We'll try and go live after the Hearts game today to see where they have ended up in the league. But I think that we'll all sit with a little bit of sadness tomorrow, wishing that we could just kept Martin O'Neill to the end of the season.